In 2025, I realized there was a pretty long list of things that I was commonly bringing into my home that were just adding to the clutter of my mental space. So in 2026, I vowed that these 10 things I want to talk about today were not going to be entering my home. I want to make sure that I am streamlining not only my spending, but also my mental space, my mental capacity and how I'm feeling. And one of the things that really gets to me when I'm feeling a little bit anxious or a little bit bogged down or a little bit stressed out from life is just the amount of visual clutter. One of the things you can do is obviously make a no-buy list, which we talk about on this channel. But another thing you can do that will save you money in the long run is to make a list of things that are not allowed essentially to enter your home. I'm gonna go and get started with the first one. For me, it is free things. So I'm in the automotive industry, and the amount of notepads, koozies, pens, pencils, I'm never going to use those things. And I have so many of them in my house, and it drives me bananas because I never use pencils. I don't use like little notepads and things like that outside of my job at work, just something I can write on and throw it away when I'm done. I never use that stuff. So how it all made its way into my home is baffling to me. It is not something I need to keep. It is free. So I think I see free and I'm like, oh, I'll use this. It didn't cost me anything, but it cost me my mental space. So all of that kind of stuff just needs to go. I have fallen victim to this so many times. And it's not to say I travel a whole lot, but when there are free hotel toiletries, I'm definitely the person who's packing for vacation. I am bringing the shampoo and conditioner that I use. I'm bringing the body wash that I use, but for some reason, I always fall victim to the free hotel toiletries. I'm talking toothpaste, body wash, bar soap, things like that. And I always say to myself, oh, I'll keep them in case I travel again. Well, wherever I'm traveling to tends to have those things too. And like I said, I already pack for that. So then my second guess is, okay, well, I'll keep them for people that come over to my house. You know how often I have people that stay with me that would need something like that who aren't traveling a distance where they would bring their own with them. It's just a constant excuse for myself of like, I don't want these things to go to waste, but they're not going to waste. They're being used for the next person that comes along into that hotel. If I've already brought all that stuff with me, I don't need to take those things. So that's another thing that I really want to cut down on is just anything that seems like it might go to waste if I don't take it. I'm not bringing that stuff into my life. Other people will find value in it and will want to use it. It's not a burden that I need to carry by bringing these free things home with me. Now, this one I am so guilty of. I have so many free gifts with purchase, especially bags. I always try to hit like a marker when it comes to spending, or I used to try to hit a marker where they're like, okay, well, if you spend $75, you get this free bag, or you get all these minis, or you get whatever. So instead of just buying the little thing that I need, they've sort of sweetened the deal to give you this free bag. And I'm not joking, so many bags under my bathroom sink that have been repurposed that I'm trying to find other use for. I'm at the point where I'm probably just going to donate them, or maybe do like little gifts where I can like stuff them with things for people and then give them that way. But I have so many bags that I don't use. I'm not a bag person. I don't travel enough to necessarily care other than having like one thing that can fit all of my travel items. So all those free gifts with purchase and the free bag that you get when you buy something, it is such a detriment to your mental space. My bathroom is so cluttered by the free stuff that I get from companies for making purchases. And I want to get rid of it. I really want to not include anything like that in my life in 2026. Now I want to get into like what I call like the fantasy self. I think we have fallen into, especially in the new year, this sense of like rebirth. And don't get me wrong, I love a good new year. I love a good goal setting. I love a soft reset. I love looking at your life, seeing what worked and what didn't work. However, we do kind of invent this fantasy self of, oh, I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to go for a run. So I need to buy, this, and this, or I'm going to take up this hobby. So I need to buy this, and this. And the fantasy self for me, I think, is what really gets me. It's a thing I've been trying to hone in on. It's this version of me that doesn't exist that I think if I purchase something, it will make that version real. And that's not how it works. So first and foremost, I want to start with hobbies. I fell into this so much. I've been spending so much time working on my Legos over the last week. I haven't really colored or anything, but I have also been reading a ton. Just my hobbies that I have purchased before that I want to finish and decide if it's something that I really love. Like in this I have discovered, I love Lego. Lego is my jam. I can sit there all day and just like ADHD nerd out on a Lego set. I absolutely love it. I love reading. I can read a book a day if I wanted to, if I could be left alone to get it done. There's just some other things that I've tried to like bring into my life for one reason or another craft-wise that I don't use. And it's because I have this imaginary self that like knits cute things or does embroidery or, you know, whatever. And that's just not realistic for me. So I think taking the time to figure out what hobbies really do bring you joy that aren't going to be like bringing in an excess of things. My ADHD girlies will completely understand this. It is this want of things to kind of fill your time with and that dopamine rush, but then you have this kind of crash and burn afterwards of just all this extra stuff hanging out that you're not using, and it makes you feel kind of bad. And we need to get rid of that guilt. And I think the way to do that is to accept that you've done this and then make your way through the hobbies that you have and then decide what really works for you. And if there is one that you want to try, maybe taking a class or something, so you're not buying up a bunch of stuff to store in your house. And that's really important to me for 2026. This one also gets me, and it is workout gear, y'all. I am not an exercise machine. I used to run. I love running, but I haven't in so long. Life's just kind of gotten away from me. But I have the shoes, you know, I have the walking pad. I have the belt, like the lifting belt. I have all these things that I was like, if I get these things, I'll start doing these things. And I haven't in forever. And I think it's time to just get rid of those things. And I'm definitely not going to be bringing anything new into my life in 2026. I mean, honestly, I love walking. I love going on for walks with my dogs. I love going for hikes with my boyfriend. I love being outdoors and doing those things, but that is my form of movement that I really enjoy, doing yoga, you know, more low intensity stuff. And while I may go for a run occasionally and I'm not going to get rid of my running shoes, there are a couple of things that I'm looking around in my life and I'm like, I could get rid of this. And for me, it's just making sure that I don't get this sudden ridiculous burst of energy where I think I can do all these things, and really taking a look back at my life of like, this is what I've bought for my physical health and this is how much I haven't used it, and just being really mindful of that. Because also what happens is when you don't do these activities, when you've wasted this money, it kind of makes you feel like it's not worth it and that you shouldn't even try. And I want to get out of that in 2026. I want to go on more walks. I want to go on more hikes. I want to, you know, hang out with my family and do more active things that doesn't necessarily require bringing anything new into my home. This one gets me so much. And this is such a plague on like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. It's specialized kitchen/home gadgets, right? So I'm talking, for an example, I have a few. I bought that shower cleaner thing that is like motorized and it's like long so you can like scrub it. I don't feel like it does a good job and it bugs me. And I feel like I need to get into the shower, into the bathtub, and I need to clean it by hand. I don't use it. And then I got this little garlic grater thing where you take the garlic and you like, you know, there's a plastic thing that you roll the garlic around in and it peels it, or it has like a little plate that you can like rub the garlic on and it like minces up the garlic. Literally throw your garlic in the microwave for 10 seconds and it'll be easy to peel. You can chop it with a knife. I love to cook. I don't know why I thought that this was some sort of tool that was going to be revolutionary to me. If I am looking at a tool and it serves one purpose, it does not need to be coming into my house. And it needs to be something that I'm really thinking about. Like I have the Hatch alarm clock. I was up and down, back and forth, but whether or not I was going to get it, because it literally serves one purpose. It's to wake me up in the morning. And I sat on it for months and months and months before I finally decided to wait for a sale and purchase it. And that's the kind of thing that I want to start doing in 2026 is, if it is something that I want, how badly do I really want it? Like, is it because I'm kind of frustrated in the moment? Is it because I'm trying to feel something? Is it because I think it's going to make me want to do this thing more? If it is, and it's going to actually help me around the house, then maybe like sit on it for a little while and see. But if it's really like a one-off thing that does one thing, I don't need it. The next section I want to talk about, the next two are, I'm kind of lumping them into like lies we tell ourselves. First and foremost, let's talk about the broken things that are sitting around our houses, okay? I definitely think there's a line for this. I think if you are somebody who does repair stuff, who does, you know, you get a tear in something and you want to sew it up, or if there's like a wood thing that you have that you want to like refinish or something like that, and that is something that you actively do, then awesome. I am not that person. I have one blanket that has a hole in it that I've been wanting to stitch that I have not stitched, that my dog chewed through. And things like that that are kind of like hanging around my house that sit in my garage or sit in a closet somewhere that I'm waiting to fix or waiting to find a use for. It needs to go. It's such a waste for me. Somebody will buy it from like a Goodwill and will restore it and find good value in it. I just know that I am not that person. And unfortunately, it feels very wasteful, but it is just the reality of it's going to waste anyway. It's sitting in a closet or in my garage right now. Like, it's not being used anyway. So this next one is fun, and it's just in case duplicates. So say you have a favorite mug, you have a favorite cup, you have a favorite pan, whatever it might be. Buying backups of that thing just in case it breaks, right? So you go to buy an item, you fall in love with it. You're like, I need to buy a backup just in case, right? So like, say for example, something around my room, my candle warmer. I have a candle warmer. I'm like, oh my God, I need another candle warmer just in case that one stops working. I don't want to be that person in 2026, you guys. There will always be something else. If that fails, there will always be something where if you really need it, you can find it. And it doesn't need to be that current you is taking on the financial and mental burden of future you. Like, let future you be the person who deals with that if and when it needs to happen. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to need that thing. You're not going to need the backup. You're not going to struggle to find something that replaces it if you do. I need to stop doing that in 2026. The last two I want to talk about is what I would call like the final boss of like overconsumption, of this guilt that we have with, keeping things that we might not necessarily want. And first and foremost, I want to talk about one that really hits home for me. I think we've all kind of been there. I'm going on vacation, right? I'm going on vacation. I'm going to an event. I'm doing something, and I need to buy the outfit. I need to buy the swimsuit. I need to buy multiple swimsuits for this vacation, even though I'm maybe going to go to the beach or the pool like once, right? I need to buy the new skincare. I need to buy the new hair care. Things like that for a specific moment in time. I guarantee that unless you have no swimsuits, unless you have no summer clothes, unless you have no winter clothes, if you're going somewhere cold, I guarantee that you have something to wear. You have items to use for this. And I think that it kind of takes away from the experience itself. Like, you're worried about, being appropriately dressed. You're making sure you have the cutest outfit, like all of that, as opposed to being in the moment. And that's something that I really want to get rid of. So I want to get out of that in 2026. I don't want to invite like the clothes that I have enough. And the last one, and I think this is the hardest one. I struggle with this so much. I know a lot of us do, but it is gifts that you don't like, gifts that you hate, gifts that you have no use for. I struggle with this so much. I have a lot of people in my life who very lovingly gift me certain things that I'm just not gonna use. Like, that's just what it is. It's people who've known me for a long time. Maybe my tastes have changed, but they don't necessarily know that yet. And they want to get me the things that they always get me. And unfortunately, those things aren't really my taste anymore. And that's fine. And, I think that people are afraid to be like, I need to donate this, or I can find a new home for this, or find a new use for this with somebody else. I think we're all kind of afraid to do that. And it kind of, I don't know, not blows my mind, but the fact that gift giving became this thing that now we have so much guilt around, like we're afraid to get rid of something that doesn't necessarily suit our needs, or telling people, hey, like, I'm not doing gifts this year, or, whatever. I think that it's kind of funny that we're afraid to do that, because I feel like we all kind of feel like that. Nobody wants to get a gift that they're not going to use, because then they're like, well, you wasted money. I feel bad. I'm not going to use it. Now I'm going to give it to somebody else. Like, or, hey, we're not doing gifts this year. We're trying to curb, money spending, or we're trying to like declutter the house or whatever. Like, we're so afraid to say that, but I feel like we're all kind of in the same boat. And so I would say that is the final boss, is being able to be like, I'm good. Like, I don't need anything. I'm okay. And being like, this doesn't have a value for me in my life. It doesn't, it doesn't have a place for me. I don't have a place to keep it. And so I'm going to be giving it to somebody else. You don't necessarily need to tell them that, but just the act of doing it, I think, is really hard for people, because they're like, what if they come over to my house and they're like, oh my God, where's this random thing that I got you? Even though they probably won't even remember. I think we're kind of afraid to do that, but that's something that I want to be really firm with in 2026, is even if it was a gift, unfortunately, it's got to go. All right, guys. So those are the 10 things I'm not bringing into my home in 2026. I can already feel a weight lifted for me, like the free stuff, the little things that I feel obligated to take, the gifts from people, all of that. Like, it feels so good to be able to be like, I'm just not bringing that in this year. So hopefully you guys can relate to this. I hope this is a little bit helpful, a little bit of a different take on some of that, and just letting you know you're not alone. Like, a lot of us struggle with these things, so don't feel like you are. Like, outside of a no buy and things like that, there are just other small things that I think we don't think about, and I think it's important to recognize that. And if it is something where you're like, well, I want to continue to do that, that's okay. If you are fine with the clutter and it doesn't feel like clutter to you, then that's all that matters. But for me, this is how I feel. The second I bring these things in my house, they just instantly become clutter to me. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you in my next video.